Welcome to a horror franchise Wednesday. Let's wrap this franchise up with Wrong Turn 6. Last Resort. Last. That means it's the last movie, right? Nope. There's a remake. I don't understand how this became a franchise. 6 movies? Wow. I could think of other movies that deserved sequels, like The Burning. Like, you could have made. I know he's dead at the end of that movie, but you still could have done something. Like, there's other movies that deserve franchises. Wrong Turn? No, not 6. This is ridiculous. So this movie, I guess, takes place in between part 5 and 1. I don't understand how this is in the continuity of the franchise. This one doesn't seem to have continuity at all. I don't get it. Where does this giant hotel fit into the story of the other ones? Why are these cannibals no longer at the hotel in part 1? Where was this hotel in part 1? Where was it in 2? Where were all these people? Where's Sally in part 1? Like, this does not connect to the franchise. This feels very much like a movie that was written as something else. And they're like, well, we can just make these people three finger, one tooth, in whatever sawtooth, and we'll call it Wrong Turn 6. Because this is written and directed by different people now who obviously were writing a different movie and making a different movie, and somebody decided to make it Wrong Turn 6. And it's awful. Absolutely awful. This movie was boring as shit. I could not stand the characters in this movie. The acting in this movie is dreadful. There's no continuity here. Like I said, this is not a Wrong Turn movie. They just threw in these characters to say it was. This is something else. It feels like it was something else, like a Hellraiser sequel. And like, how does this hotel go into the other movies? They don't explain it. The way this movie wraps up, it doesn't go into part 1. It would have been cool if they tried to do that somehow. And the makeup effects on the faces of these killers now is the absolute worst they've ever looked in this franchise. They look like they're wearing masks on their face. Like, they could easily take the appliance off of their face. Especially Three Finger. He looks the fucking worst. And so, yeah, like, the whole story just sucks overall. They're trying to do Texas Chainsaw 3D in a way, and it just is not interesting. It doesn't work. The story can just fuck off. Like, really, this guy just goes there. He's all butthurt and depressed, and he's like, oh, I just need to find out who my family is that I never knew, and I'll be happy, and now I'm going to take care of this giant hotel. And how did this guy get lost from his family in the first place? They don't explore this character enough. You know, like, who is he? How did he lose his family in the first place? How did he get separated from this clan? Like, he's supposed to be related to these people, but how did he get to New York and they all stayed there? Like, how did that happen? Like, how did they find him? Google, at one point they said, like, they Googled Danny, who they lost 2 decades ago, because the guy looks like he's probably like in his 20s or something. Like, decades ago, they lost this baby that went to New York, and now they found him on Google, and they're going to invite him back to the hotel because they need to have Sally, his long-lost cousin or sister or whatever, fuck him to keep the bloodline pure or some shit for reasons. I don't know. Like, this story is just dumb. I was in and out of this movie, checking my watch, just waiting for it to end. I was miserable watching this movie because it's like 3 movies in a row now where there's just characters that are all cannon fodder and they're not interesting in the slightest. There's just occasional sex scenes and lots of boobs. That's cool, you know. But there's kills that are gory and kind of creative, but it's not enough to save this movie. No, hell no. This isn't entertaining to me at all. It's just very fucking miserable. But the positives for this movie is this movie does look better than part 5. It doesn't feel as cheap. The locations, you know, the atmosphere of these woods and some of the scenes actually look good. Like the little clan community, the way that scene looked, like there's some good atmosphere here and there. You know, and some decent camera work. Like, it's not the worst like made movie. It's just the writing. It's the writing of this story. It's the writing of the characters. But if you gave this director a terrific script, I think this director could make a good movie. But fuck, man. But yeah, it's got kills and boobs and, you know, gory shit happening. People's stomachs blowing up and getting fire, you know, hoses up their assholes. So if that sounds good to you, check it out. But I have to say, final thoughts, fuck this movie. is boring. Cannot stand it. Never watching it again. It's just not worth checking out. Just watch death clips on YouTube and you'll get everything you need out of this movie. So when it comes to Wrong Turn 6, skip this movie. Do not watch it. It is wasted time. Time for the spoiler discussion. So we get opening sex again, like 3 movies in a row. We get a couple fucking in the woods in a hot spring, and one of them gets like a bow and arrow through their face, and it's CG. And the other chick, she like runs into barbed wire, and unlike part 4, in this one, it doesn't chop her head off. It just goes like through her eyes a bit, and she like falls off her bike. Realistically, like that part, like you would fall off the bike. You know, in part 4, they hit the barbed wire and it just chops her heads off. It's like bullshit. But they like pick her off the ground and the barbed wire is like stuck like in her skull. Very, very gruesome. And then they just slice at her throat and her head pops right off. And I like that their bodies make like the title card says wrong turn, and then her body looks like a V, and then the other guy's body is like the I. But where she died was like not even close to that guy's body, so how his body was already there, lined up perfectly to make that shot when her body fell down makes no sense. We get this incest couple, the caretakers, taking care of this giant hotel that's filled with all kinds of grannies and senior citizens for some reason. And who the fuck would want to stay here? It looks creepy and dilapidated and just awful. Like the walls are falling apart, the wallpaper, the paint, it just looks awful. Like there's some places in it that look good, but for the most part, it's a place that just shouts haunted on the outside. So who the fuck would want to stay there? And yeah, the acting from Sally and her brother slash lover is fucking abysmal. Oh my god. How can somebody be this depressed with a girlfriend like Tony, who is so supportive of him? She's taking him all the way out here, and she's so nice, and he's just so butthurt and cutting his wrist. He's like, I just want to find out about my family. It's like, get the fuck over yourself. Like, you have a girlfriend. Not everybody can say that. So it's like, be happy, piece of shit. It just pissed me off. And so this old lady is pushing like this luggage cart, and she's got like all this luggage. It's just her. But apparently she packed her whole house when she left, because she's got like 24 bags stacked like 10 feet high in front of her on this thing. And then this axe comes flying down the hall, hits her, and like throws her off her feet up against the wall, and she's pinned up against the wall like Bob in Halloween, even though the axe was probably like that big. You know, the blade just hit her and went stuck her to the wall very impossibly. And so yeah, and then like the guy, the owner or caretaker dude, Jackson, he doesn't even clean up the blood of that mess until like the next morning. Why did he wait so long? I love that this movie is like blurring images that I guess they didn't have rights for. Like not only pictures like inside this hotel, but they go to like this convenience store outside of town, and there's like a board with like all kinds of like ads and missing people, and every single one of them except for the one that they're about to put up is blurred. Every single like ad, every like picture, it's just odd. Like really, you guys couldn't get creative in the prop department, like put up ads and stuff that you guys created so you could actually show it. You had to like blur shit out. And I love that they're putting up a missing poster for the lady who just got killed the night before. Like she hasn't been missing 24 hours, and there's already missing people posters for her being put up throughout town. Like damn, she's got people that care about her and are very worried. And so after that shit, we find out that Google helped these caretakers find Danny. That's how they found him. They just Googled Danny and they found him. Like, you would have to know his name to Google him, so clearly they never lost track of him if they knew his fucking name. How did they find him? Whatever, fuck it. I don't want to get into it. This story's just stupid. And then after that, I like this scene where it's like, you know, he's being taught how to hunt, and then it's like the scene is like side by side with the scene of like Three Finger hunting down this cop. So it's like he's hunting a deer and Three Fingers hunting the cop. And then we see Sawtooth eating the deer that the other guy just killed, I thought they were cannibals, but apparently they eat all kinds of meat now. Meat's meat, man's gotta eat. And they, for some reason, do like all these like blue filtered like memory flashbacks to shit that just happened a minute ago. Like not only one character, but two characters like start thinking about things, and it's like this dark blue filter and like all these like black blinks on like it, weird editing. Like it's a weird editing choice. Jillian, the bitchy friend, is like stealing shit. Very Texas Chainsaw 3D, the hitchhiker stealing shit. She's like, oh, these ceramic little pieces of garbage are worth $2,000 each. It's like, how the fuck are they worth that much? Then they find like this secret passage, and they're just like, let's start fucking right now. Yeah, let's just. And then they get naked, they're having sex, and the guy gets like hit over the head with this little figurine or statue or whatever, and it like leaves this giant like knot on his head, like a little hole, and he's like paralyzed from it. And the other chick gets her legs like bent back, like she gets real flexible, and it like he snaps her leg right off, and it just kills her instantly. And then the guy who's knocked unconscious gets dragged away by Sally up to her bedroom, and she like tries to fuck him, but the other guy's like, no, you gotta wait to fuck your brother or slash cousin or whatever. You can't fuck him. He's not your blood. And so therefore she just puts a pillow over his face and suffocates him while she's sitting on top of it, and she's getting like sexual pleasure out of killing him that way. And and then this other guy, while his friend Danny is getting told about the tribe, he's learning about his family, his real family, and you know, taking this drug that makes him hallucinate and shit. Like his friend gets caught and like hung up like a animal, and then gets his throat slit. They're like having the blood go into cups, and they're drinking his blood, and they start gutting him and just taking his guts out. Like I said, very graphic, gruesome kills, but overall just a very fucking shitty movie. And so then this other guy, he gets caught, and they pin him down, and they put this fire hose like in his mouth at first, but then they shove it up his ass, and it just makes his stomach like expand and expand, and then it just blows up. So then this guy gets caught in a bear trap, and just like in the Friday the 13th reboot, the killer pops up and hits him right in the head with like the machete, and it goes down his face some. So now that all his friends are dead, and his sister's like, or his girlfriend Tony is like, we need to get out of here, and he's like, no, this is my family, and you just go. And he's like he's telling her to leave. He wants her to escape and live. But then when she's trying to escape, Jackson attacks her, and she kills him in self-defense. And now he's like, I told you to leave, and now I have to kill you because you just killed Jackson. Like, you just killed someone in my family, so now I have to kill you. It's like, dude, were you not paying attention? She was trying to leave. One of your family members attacked her, so she had to fight back, and you didn't do shit to help her leave exactly. It's your fault. And now he's pointing a gun at her. It's so stupid. Like, literally 10 seconds goes by after he's like, leave, all right? Like, I don't want to hurt you. Just leave. Please, go. And then 10 seconds later, she's killed the guy who tried to prevent her leaving. And he's like, now I got to kill you. It's fucking stupid. It's like, what? Oh, my God. So then, he just lets her get killed by Three Finger. Knife in the back of the head. Flash forward some months later, they got the place cleaned up real nice. He's even named one of the restaurants inside the hotel after his dead girlfriend, Tony. And then he goes downstairs to start fucking Sally. He's like, we're going to keep trying, baby. We're going to try to make our bloodline pure and strong. We're going to keep fucking until we make a baby. And then it's over. There you go. Wrong Turn 6. Mr. Hathaway for best kill in this movie is the fire extinguisher is the fire hose death of Charlie, who gets the stomach exploded, and the Mr. Twig Award for worst kill is the cop who gets the bow and arrow to the back of his head and out his mouth. And the hottest chick in this movie is Tony, the girlfriend who's supportive of that dipshit Danny. The clap award for best scene in this movie, I guess, will just be the opening. Everything with the two having sex and then getting picked off. You get tits and blood. And those are my thoughts on Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort. What are your thoughts on this movie? Put them in the comments below. I'd be curious to hear someone actually defend this movie. But if you like it, that's fine. But personally, I just think it's garbage. So there you go. let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you're seeing here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.